Hey guys, it's Jessica with Southern Sparrow, and you've made it to episode 3 of Mahj 101. Today we're going to talk about the National Mahjong League card. National Mahjong League card is issued every spring, usually the first week of April they come out. They do come out every year with different hands, and what it is your playbook. It does have the rules to the game, kind of simplified, but the rules to the game are printed on the back side of the card. On the inside are each of the hands that you can play for that year. We are looking today at the 2025 card, so that's the current year's card. And these are the hands for 2025. In April, the 2026 card will come out, and we will then be playing from the new hands on the 2026 card. These are issued every year by the National Mahjong League. The league is the governing body of American Mahjong. They are the ones who set the rules, and they're the ones who set the hands. So they do change every year, which makes it really fun. If you've been playing for a very long time, it's always nice to have some new hands that you've not played before. And it also levels the playing field a lot. So you, as a brand new player, may be feeling like you might not be up to snuff with the girls who've been playing for a long time. But each year when the new card comes out, everyone's back on that level playing field of having to learn all new hands again. So this video, even if you're watching this in 2028, will be relevant because the sections on the sections on the card will remain the same, even though the hands within those sections will change over time. So we're looking at the 2025 card, and we're talking about the sections. And those sections are just groupings of like hands that you can play from. So on the card, you'll find that there is at the top, a 2025 section. And if you don't yet own a National Mahjong League card, I would pause this video, go order one. I'll link them down below. And it's just so much easier if you have your card out in front of you. If you own one, or if a friend of yours wants you to start learning Mahjong and you want to call her up and say, hey, can I borrow a card while I'm learning this game? Borrow one or get one. Have one in front of you while you're watching this episode. It will make it so much easier for you to understand what the heck I'm talking about, because I know the first time we open these cards, they can feel really overwhelming, and they shouldn't. It's a lot of options, but it all follows the same pattern. Remember, Mahjong is a game about patterns. We're matching the patterns of our tiles to a hand on this card. So I'm going to help you how to do that. All right, sections. On the top, we have a 2025 section. Those are hands that are spelling out the year number in different patterns. So you'll see lots of iterations of 2s, 0s, 2s, and 5s. You've got some flowers mixed in. You've got some dragons mixed in. But for the most part, that section is spelling out the year of the card in different patterns, 2025. So again, remember from last episode, to make the zeros for 2025, you'll be using this soap, the white dragon tile, the one that looks like a little rectangle, could look like a little zero, and that is the tile that gets utilized in this 2025 section to make those zeros. And when it's used in 2025 section, it doesn't have a suit, which will come in handy in just a moment. So we have the 2025 section. Underneath that, we have a section called 2, 4, 6, 8. And it's just what it sounds like. It's even numbers. So it's different combinations of even numbered tiles in the 2, 4, 6, 8 section. Below that, you have any like number. Now, any like number is shown, and we'll learn more about this in a moment, is shown in ones, but like the title says, any like number can be played with any like numbers. We'll talk about that in just a moment. In our center panel of our card, at the top, we have Quints. You have Quints hands, which make groupings of 5 tiles. Now remember from our last video, there's 4 of a kind for most tiles in a set, meaning there are 4 of these, 2 cracks, 4 2 cracks in a set. So to make a quint, you will need some of those jokers to make the grouping of 5 like tiles. So that's what quints is. Consecutive run. As a new player, consecutive run is going to be a place that you spend a lot of time. This section tends to be the hands that come the easiest to people who are new to the game because all of us are great at counting. So it follows patterns that are very familiar to us. You're just counting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 2, 3, 4, etc. So that's consecutive run. Down below that in this center panel, we have a section called 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It is the antithesis of this even numbered section. This is your odd numbered section here at the bottom of this center panel. Excuse me. On the top of this side, you'll find the section is winds and dragons. So remember our winds tiles from the last video, north, east, west, and south. You'll see them shown as news, N-E-W-S, in this winds and dragons section. There's also lots of D's there. Those are your dragons, your red, your green, and your white dragon, also called the soap. That's what those D's are. They're for your winds and dragons, and you'll find dragons thrown throughout the card, but that's what the letter D is on your card. Underneath winds and dragons, you have your 3, 6, 9 section, and it's just what it sounds like. It's the numbers 3, 6, and 9 combined in different patterns to make those hands. And then the last section is your singles and pairs section. And this is a section, if you're brand new to the game, I would advise waiting to play a hand in this section because these are the most difficult hands to make. They are all made up of singles and pairs, and as we'll learn as we go through this series in the gameplay episode, you will learn that you cannot use jokers in singles and pairs, and you cannot call for a tile to make a single or a pair unless it's your very final tile that you need to win Mahjong. So singles and pairs can be a rather difficult section for a brand new player. So just be aware of that. That doesn't mean that you should never try a singles and pairs hand. It just means get a couple of games under your belt before you start to attempt this, unless you are very lucky on the deal and you have the vast majority of this hand already built out. I would wait to play that section. Okay. Well, what else do we see on this card? So we've talked about the sections of the card, which are just groupings of hands that kind of go together. The next thing that tends to overwhelm new players are the colors. So you'll see that the colors on the National Mahjong League card are blue, green, and red. They're a navy blue, a bright green, and a bright red. I do wish that the league would use different colors because it feels like those colors coordinate with the colors of the suits, but they do not. The colors on the card do not indicate specific suits, meaning green on your card does not mean bam as far as the suit. Red does not mean crack, and blue does not mean dot. Instead, what the colors on your card show you are how many colors are in that hand and where in the hand do I change colors. So for instance, if you're looking at a hand, let's look at this top line in consecutive run. So you'll see it's 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, and it's printed in all navy blue. Okay, if it's all in one color, it's printed all in navy blue, that's going to be all one suit. But it can be played as any one suit. So I've shown that hand here on these two racks. I've shown it two ways. I've shown it in cracks. So you'll see I have my pair of ones, my pung. Pung is 3 tiles of a kind. My pung of 2s. My kong. Kong is 4 tiles of a kind of 3s. My pung of 4s. And then my pair of 5s. And that is how I played the hand in cracks. You'll see the exact same hand here on the rack that I've placed in front, played in the BAM suit. So we have our pair of 1s in BAM, our pung of 2s in BAM, our kong of 3s in BAM, and our pung of 4s in BAM, and then that pair of 5 BAMs. So with this, if it's all navy, it's all one suit, and it can be any suit. So navy just means a single suit, but it does not mean that it must be played in dots. It can be either all BAMs, all cracks, or all dots to play those all navy lines on the card. Okay, if we see a line that has 2 colors, it has green and red. Let's drop down on our card in consecutive run. We're now looking at the 3rd line down, 1, 2, 3. And we're looking at the right-hand side if you're looking at the card. And you'll see that that is shown in 3 colors. It's in navy, green, and red. And what that, I'm sorry, no, we're looking at a 2-colored hand. It's in green and red. And what that's showing you is that it is 2 suits, and the suits are to change where the colors change. So this hand is shown as 1s shown in green, 2s shown in green, 3s shown in red, 4s shown in red. So that can be played as 1 crack, 2 crack, 3 dot, 4 dot, meaning you're changing your suit where the colors change on the card. So you are changing to follow the same pattern. So you must match where the suits change, where the colors change. You're matching that in your hand. So you're playing it as, actually, I wonder if I can build it here. I won't have the exact number of tiles, but it would be, you would be changing it, right? 1s and 2s in one suit, 3s and 4s in another suit. I don't have the exact number of tiles to represent that hand on these racks, but that is where you're changing it. So the colors on the card are showing you how many suits and where do you change the suits. Remember, Mahjong is all about matching a pattern, finding a pattern in the tiles you're dealt, and then matching that pattern. If you see a hand that is 3 colors, it indicates 3 suits, and that can be any 3 suits. So you may play it as bams, then cracks, then dots, or you could play it as dots, then bams, then cracks. However you want to change those suits, you just need to match where the colors change. Now it's important to note that non-suited tiles, so your winds, your north, east, west, and south, and your flowers, they don't have a suit, which means they will always be shown in navy blue on the card. So you'll see you have Fs in, there are Fs on this 2025 card, there are Fs in every section. Your F is for flower, and the Fs in every section mean that flowers are very important on this 2025 card. There are a lot of hands that require flowers, so if you are dealt flowers or you draw flowers during the game, you're going to want to hold those because they give you a lot of flexibility within the section to use flowers in lots of different options for hands. So the flowers will always be shown in blue, and then you may see, let me find a hand that is a good example of this. In the 3, 6, 9 section, you'll see this 1, 2, 3, 4th line down. This is why I said it's nice to have your National Mahjong League card in front of you as we're doing this video, because I know it can be hard to see in what I'm holding up. But the 4th line down on 3, 6, 9 is shown with 3 navy blue flowers, and then you have 3s that are printed in green, a 3, 6, 9 printed in red, and then 9s printed in green. So the way that you would play that hand is you would play your flowers, and then the hand is actually 2 suits because the flowers don't have a suit. So you would play 3 flowers, and then let's say we're going to play it in dots and bams. We would have a Kong for 3 dots. Then in the bam suit, we would find 3, 6, 9. And then we would switch back to our dots for the group of 4 9s. So you would change the suit everywhere the color changes. And where there's like colors, like we have 2 sections in the hand that have green, they need to match, meaning your 3s and 9s in that hand are the same suit with this group of 3, 6, 9 in the middle, a different suit. So that's what the colors mean on the National Mahjong League card. We've talked about the sections, we've talked about the colors, we've talked about how Fs stand for flower, F for flower, D on your card stands for dragon. So remember, we have a green dragon, a red dragon, and a white dragon or the soap. Those are Ds on your card, unless in the instance of the soap it's being used as a 0, then that is shown as a 0. But otherwise, where you see D on your card, that stands for dragon. And then the NEWS, those are for your news, your winds tiles. So you have north is N, E is east, W is west, and S is south. So those are the symbols and the letters on the card. Let's talk about the parentheses. So you'll see on each line, there are parentheses that follow the hand. So you see the tiles that make up the pattern of the hand, and then you see parentheses. And it can, again, feel very overwhelming of like, how many things are they gonna make us remember in this game? But those parentheses make it easier to win every single hand. So read those parentheses every time. If you think, oh, I might do this hand, make sure to check the parentheses, because what those parentheses will tell you are ways that you can change it. So, for instance, in this one, and I now wish that I hadn't taken this apart, so give me 30 seconds to put it back together. So we have, remember we had this shown in two different suits. This is that top line of consecutive run, okay? So we have it shown in BAM and we have it shown in crack because the parentheses tell us any one suit, meaning it can be either BAMs or cracks or dots, any one suit, and then it tells us these numbers only. These numbers only, meaning it has to start with your pair of ones and end with your pair of fives with the correct numbers in between on that first line in consecutive run. Now, if you'll allow me to get rid of these racks and bring in two other racks that I have set up here for us, I have shown another hand in consecutive run in two ways. So let's talk about that. We're now looking at, let's see, that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth line down in your consecutive run. It's shown on the card as it's shown right here on this rack, okay? It's shown as a pair of flowers, a pair of ones, a pung, 3 of a kind, of 2s, a kong, 4 of a kind, of 3s, and a pung of the matching dragon, right? It's all in one suit. It's all shown in navy blue. Our parentheses say any one suit, any 3 consecutive numbers. So as it's written, it's shown as 1, 2, 3 matching dragon. But we can play it as I have here, which starts with 6. So we have our pair of flowers, and then instead of our pair of ones, which is what's written on the card, we have a pair of 6s. Instead of this pung of 2s, we have a pung of 7s. Instead of the kong of 3s, we have a kong of 8s, and then we have our matching dragons. So it's any one suit, we have all one suit on each rack, any 3 consecutive numbers. So we have it 1, 2, 3, that's what's written, and we have it shown here as 6, 7, 8. Those are your options. So you can play that hand as it's written, 1, 2, 3. You can play it as 2, 3, 4 with the matching dragons. You can play it as 6, 7, 8 with the matching dragons. It's any 3 consecutive numbers. And you'll find that throughout the card, there are lots of options. And what those options make this card, they make it more winnable, more flexibility, so that you can build your hand with the tiles that are on your rack. So if you start to see that you have some numbers that go in order, like you have 6s, 7s, and 8s when you've gotten your tiles, you might look at this consecutive run and be like, there's really not much for 6, 7s, and 8s unless I play this top line on the right-hand side. But in fact, you can play almost all of these hands with the numbers that you have, as long as you're matching the pattern, meaning I have 2 where it shows 2. I have 3 where it shows 3. I have 4 where it shows 4 of a kind, right? So you're matching that pattern, but you can change the numbers as they're shown. So read those parentheses. That will help get you familiarized with other ways that those hands can be flexible. A couple more things I want to talk to you guys about on this National Mahjong League card. So at the end of each line, you see a letter, either the letter X or the letter C, and then you see a number. Let's talk about each of those. The X stands for exposed, meaning during gameplay, you can call tiles and expose them on the top of your rack like this. You're calling tiles that are discarded and you're exposing them up on top. And we'll talk more about what that really means in the gameplay episode, but the X means that you can do that, okay? The C, and it tends to be the bottom line of each section until you get to singles and pairs, which those are all marked C. C stands for closed or concealed. A closed or concealed hand means that you cannot go up on top of your rack like this. You have to keep everything private. You keep it to yourself, down on the slope side of your rack. This is the side that would face you as the player. You keep all of your tiles down until your last tile to Mahjong, which means if you're playing a hand that is marked with a C, you cannot call any tiles until your final tile to win. It makes those hands a bit more difficult to play. Now, if you're watching this series, you're a brand new player, you've maybe never played before, or you've gone to one lesson or something like that, and you're very, very new to this game, is what I expect. I would encourage you the first couple of times, especially if you're playing with other new members, make it a table rule of we're not going to play concealed or closed for the first 3 games that we've ever played together as you're learning. It adds a layer of complexity and a layer of difficulty that if you're brand new to the game, you're already remembering all these different rules and all these different things. I would just eliminate that for your first couple of games if you're playing with people who are new. If you're not playing with people who are new, you're playing with older people who have been playing this game for a long time, then you're going to have more trouble convincing them to do that. But just then be aware that the C means that you cannot call for a tile, you cannot expose for a tile in your gameplay until the final tile needed to win. And then finally, the number that's next to each line is the point value. So most social games don't keep score. It's fun to keep score if you want. Some people play where they play for money. The most common way if you're playing for money is to play for the coin value of those points. But if you enter a tournament, those points come in to the scoring element, and you would then earn points based on the points of your hand, and sometimes it gets doubled and things like that, and we'll talk about that in the scorekeeping episode of this series. But if you're just looking at the number, the value will give you a really good indication of how difficult it is to build that hand with the tiles that are in a set of Mahjong tiles. So if you see a hand that's marked as a 25, that's a pretty low point value. That hand is going to be easier to make than, let's say, this bottom hand in singles and pairs that's marked as a 75 point hand. So those hands with the higher point values, you should know that that indicates how difficult it is to build that hand. So as a new player, look to build hands when you're starting out that are the lower point value, the 25 or 30 point hands. Those will be easier for you to complete as you're learning. And then as you get better, you play more and more times, start to challenge yourself with, oh, I want to go for a hand that is a higher point value and see if I can make those melds and make that hand come to life. So that's the National Mahjong League card. You have all the different hands that are broken out into different sections. The colors on the card, they indicate where there are suit changes and how many suits are in a hand. They don't indicate what suit you have to play. So again, all navy is 1 suit, red and green is 2 suits, blue, red, and green, that's going to be 3 suits. You have your F's for flowers, your D's for dragons, your N's for north, east for west, N for north, E for east, W for west, S for south. Say that 5 times fast. And then you have D for dragons. So those are the symbols on the card. That's how you read the colors. That's how you read your sections. In the next video, we're going to go into how to set up for a game of Mahjong. You're getting close to being ready to play. Keep on watching, and happy Mahjong, y'all.